Ben, welcome to Monday Marketing Tea. I actually have tea today. Talk about news and marketing and AI and writing and anything kind of touching that sphere. So, what news do we have going on this week? What if? Okay, yeah. So, I saw this consideration on LinkedIn. And it was kind of the AI is either going to burst. This is one of the discussions. Like, it's starting to lose steam. People are losing interest. People are getting AI. What's the word? Fatigue. Right? They're tired of being talked to about AI all the time. So maybe it'll burst. And I think it was the NVIDIA report that, economically they're doing well. So AI is going to do great. But who knows? But on the other hand, people do stay in it. And this gentleman who's in the gaming industry, and he works specifically in like job placement, helping people find jobs in the gaming industry, which is not pleasant. His unfortunate take was like, either way, it's gonna mean people lose jobs. Because if the bubble bursts, then there's going to be a lot of tech jobs that are no longer existing. And if it succeeds, then eventually businesses are going to replace people with AI, because that's what this is all about. So, eventually I guess we're going to strain the system, and we're already kind of straining it. I don't know. I'm not an expert in the economy. In college, I never particularly thought very highly of economists. And I probably still don't. But we'll see what happens. That's an interesting thought. I hadn't really thought about in a while. But my experience in academia with economists was very much, yeah, they like their systems and they like their theories and they like everything, but that's not actually the way that people function. Like, I'm just saying, like, they're statisticians, so they don't necessarily think about psychology. And they have something called, I think, the human element or the human animal that they invoke whenever reality doesn't line up with their plans. Because, in essence, yeah, people don't function according to stats. People often in economic things do not make good decisions. So, even if technology and AI were actually planning for human success or aiming at human success, the human animal is probably just not going to let it. I don't know what that means long term, because I'm not that advanced, I guess, is the short thing. Human society changes over time, and societies don't last forever. And the fact that we now have a global economy and a global village doesn't add security at all. If anything, it probably takes away security from it collapsing. So, like, it's more likely to collapse, not less likely. So, we'll see. Very uplifting. All right. Oh, Adobe. Yeah, so this was a random news item. It seemed random to me. So Adobe, famous for Acrobat, Photoshop, other pieces of software, has purchased an SEO company called SEMrush, which is one of the major SEO players in terms of being an SEO tool. You know, I use LinkGraph. There's SEMrush. There's RFs. I want to say there's one Moz. Those are probably like the biggest of the companies. And to me, even reading an article about it, it made no sense. I have no idea why a software company interested in visual media predominantly would want to buy an SEO company. The news article, the take that I was kind of reading about it was trying to spin a positive about how SEO is really this enigma, and the fact that a major software company bought an SEO tool shows that SEO is, you know, seen as a legitimate important thing. And it's like, okay, yes, but like, what is the Adobe SEO product going to look like? Is it going to take SEMrush and put it in its kind of Adobe portfolio? And package it with the 50 other software in there? Is it going to make it a lot more expensive? That was something that I and others immediately were concerned about. Just like, oh, guess that's gonna be more expensive now. Again, I don't use it anyway, thankfully, so it won't affect my workflow negatively. If anything, maybe SEMrush users will leave SEMrush and join my platform, and you know, there'll be even new features, more support. Who knows? But I don't know. I don't know what to make of what Adobe is going to do with SEMrush. Maybe it'll just let it continue under its model and just take profits to fund its AI stuff. And maybe this is my suspicion that it's something about AI, because it wants things to be more visible online. So kind of taking on those SEO tools and having the Adobe LLM image generator, everything. Maybe there's something like that behind the scenes. We shall see. As with all of these things, I am not on the board. I do not have insider information. Just looking at the pieces like everyone else. Alright, let's see what's catching up. I didn't know eBay bought Skype. Yeah, sometimes people just buy tech products. Although that's kind of funny because Skype completely died. Does anybody use Skype anymore? That was probably like 15 years since I've used Skype. Something like that. Morning, Steven. How are you? Perspective on Adobe Shift. Negative PR. Buy the tool that dictates to the end user that there is no other option than their over-designed and clumsy software. But, I mean, so SEMrush as a tool, SEO tools don't, they just try to scrape data and show you what's going on with their websites and tell you how to optimize things. So yeah, maybe they will start showing you like, oh, if you use, I can't remember what Adobe's generative AI image thing is, but like, use this to create content, use this to create, maybe there's tie-ins in that way. And maybe Adobe wants to look into hosting websites and like I said, maybe creating its own AI agent. Probably something in this realm. Microsoft turned Skype into Teams? I actually didn't know that. Oh. Well, that makes sense. They gutted it and made a new core. Okay. So it is the ship of Theseus at this point, you're saying. So it was the same ship and then and now it's not. But it is. Okay. Skype started in 2003, bought by eBay in 2005, bought by the Cana Pension Plan Investment Board 2009, bought by Microsoft in 2011. Oh, Canada. And killed in 2025. Wow. Interesting. Well, I feel informed. So yeah, maybe that'll be the future of SEMrush too. I would not be surprised. Because there are other tools that do similar things, like I think it's Moz RFs and Link Graph, the one I use. So it might just end up being killed. But we'll see. Alright. The third piece of news, oh yeah, energy cost. So this isn't news to anybody, here at least. But going down rabbit holes, I did get curious because I had heard, about the... Oh, wrong thing. Yes, this movie over here. I'd heard about how much energy AI processing uses. This is one of the main negative points about AI that I hear often. So I was curious because you can hear reports of things all the time, but it might be inaccurate, it might be overblown, etc. So I skimmed through the MIT report on it back. Can't remember if it was May or August. Earlier this year, though. Their piece about the AI energy usage. And it was very interesting. Because it is excessive. But I say that, and it's like, I don't have a great concept of like how much energy usage this cost, for example, to live stream video, um, the Google Slides here. So I don't necessarily have a great comparison in that term, but it still is quite a lot. The estimate was that by 2028, I think this is all, US numbers, is that the AI data centers will be equivalent to like 22% of the home energy usage. So we're not quite there yet, but we're getting close. And the numbers weren't exact because tech companies don't give out information. Imagine that. And ChatGPT cost around $700,000 a day in order to do its work. But there's several 100 million users, paid users. So they do come out. But that's expensive. That's a lot. A lot of money for, the data part of it. But one of the examples that they estimated, again, not 100% accurate because they don't have the information from the AI companies to explain what's going on, but to the best of their experimentation and understanding, what I would consider to be a comprehensive campaign for a small business. And by that I mean, so they're working on an event, they, generate 20 prompts or something in order to go back and forth about getting research for the event. And then they generate a few flyers, go through like 10 iterations until they're happy, and then do a couple iterations of Instagram video, 5-second videos. So all in all, not really excessive use, I would say. I could easily see a small business owner, like the ones I know, doing that any given day when they're getting ready for an event. And so that was equivalent to running a microwave for 3.5 hours, which sounds like a lot. Now, granted, if you were to run a microwave that long, it would probably explode. But that seems like a lot. Now, granted, that's still a drop in the bucket because the main data usage culprits are the tech companies. All right. The ones who are experimenting with AI and testing the AI agents and trying to get them to do entire construction projects, for example. Saw a headline about that. So those big tech companies are the ones, doing 80% of the usage. I made up that number. That is not a statistic. But, to get the idea across, small business owner, not the one using all the energy. Big tech company, one using all the energy. But it does add up, especially if we tell every human that they need to be using AI or else their lives will be over. The usage is only going to go up. AI agents, of course, take a lot more energy than image prompts. I think image prompts were the lowest energy usage. And so, yeah, there's just going to be a lot more data usage and a lot more data centers being built. You've probably heard about Microsoft and Meta building nuclear reactors to power their AI, data centers being built all over, and yes, by extension, residents having to pay for it, not directly, but as Punch actually explained, I think very well, just the infrastructure is not there. If you put in one of these data centers and the energy that the company needs to produce suddenly increases by however many times, then the infrastructure is going to have to improve. They're going to have to build out the energy company in order to handle it, and residents have to help pay for that. My energy utility is a co-op, so it's very much like we get paid, or we pay based on our own usage, but also like combined. So they tell us, like, during the summer, they send out tips like, it's going to be really hot. Try not to run your AC all the time. Keep your blinds down. Keep the sun out of your house. Same thing in the winter. It's going to be a cold snap. It's going to be like -20 for a while. Drop your thermostat by 2 degrees and wear a sweater. Try not to overload the system. So if we're being asked to do that in a regular season, if we had a data center down the road, that would be a big deal. So there's definitely things to be aware of as we're kind of navigating this. And whenever people have conversations about how to use AI, I think there also need to be some conversations about the ethics, the responsibilities, and the infrastructure concerns, right? This industry, technology probably already dominates the energy industry in a way, but I feel like over the past 40 years-ish, the goal has been to use less energy. Our electronics are more efficient. So a computer, in the 80s took a lot more energy than, my laptop, for example. Could be wrong, but that's kind of the sense that I get. The industry in the whole has been paying attention to that. But with AI coming in, it's reversing that trend. Now, what you are doing is, causing a lot more energy usage, and that needs to pay attention. Like, people need to pay attention to that, because if this industry is going to be, a fifth of the energy usage in the country, that will have effects. Don't know what. Tiny nuclear reactors everywhere, maybe. So there are certainly things that we can do that could be an overall net positive, right? But there's also like, we just have to kind of be aware and ask questions, I guess, because we don't really know. All right, what's going on over here? Oh, interesting. Some companies have told their staff that AI usage will affect their annual reviews. Like in terms of, like they monitor how much energy, they spent, how many tokens, I guess, I think that's the word, that AI reads, so they are costing the company more money? Question mark? That would be a good idea. Yeah. Instead of being a snowbird and going to like Florida or Arizona, I could just go to Australia. The goal has been to do more with the same electricity. Okay, that's, yeah. It's a fair way of saying it too. Even features like your CPU not running at 100% clock speed all the time was originally a power saving feature. That's fair. Thorium. Which one is thorium? It sounds like you and Punch both know what that is. But yeah, I mean, I've heard some good things about tiny nuclear reactors because Punch is a big fan. So you need to find more ways to use AI or you won't get promoted. Oh, the opposite of what I was thinking. Oh, I see. That's that's interesting because it's like, I have worked with many people I would not consider efficient. And I have heard stories of many people that I would not consider efficient. And a lot of times, those jobs are probably ones more where they're paying for time than results, if that makes sense. There are certain jobs where you have to be on site, you need a person there. Uh, and you take what you can get. Yes. So, yeah, I guess I just, like, you want your workers to be productive and you want your workers to be efficient. But if you're the boss, you need to be setting the expectations for what that looks like and helping them meet that goal. So you can't just be like, use more AI. Like, did they do their job or not? Hey. Thorium is alternative to uranium. Oh, okay, you can breed it into fissile uranium the same way you'd make plutonium. But since this isn't named after a demoted planet, it's better. I guess. Which one's more or less radioactive? Which one's more likely to turn me into a superhero? One notable advantage of thorium, from what I've heard, is that countries that lack uranium deposits may still be able to mine their own thorium. Interesting. I've never even heard of this element. Which number is it? Odds are the boss didn't know how to do the job before, so now we're relying on computers who don't have a great idea of what the job is in the first place. There's a lot of bad bosses in the world. This is why I end up working for myself. 3 mid-90. That's a lot earlier than I thought it was going to be. But still late enough that my periodic knowledge gets a little fuzzy. Well, cool. That does sound like it would be more stable then. Less likely to greatly harm someone. I don't know a lot about nuclear reactors. Uranium's 92. Oh, okay, so yeah, just 2. I don't know why you just assume all these are in the hundreds and made up elements. It's been a while since chemistry. Seriously, the last time I took chemistry, 2002, 23 years. It's been 23 years since I've taken a chemistry class. And the only science I took in college was astronomy. So, which, I mean, there are elements in the stars too. That's not really what we talked about. You're probably used to hearing isotope numbers, like U-238, which also count the neutrons. That could be it. You would think I would have known that, though, because I don't think we're up to 238 elements. So I would have known that's not the... Oh well. Again, it's been 23 years. Give me a break. I am old, guys. The world moves fast. But figure it out together. So, I think there's an element 119. How many elements? I'll look this up. How was the periodic table Wikipedia updated 12 hours ago? Fascinating. Okay, yeah. That's less than I thought there were. I did think we had made it up to like 120, but no, apparently not. Well, into the 120s, I should say. We did almost make it to. There's a certain point they don't really mean much anymore. Yeah, that is true. They're all man-made after a certain point. Oh, let's apply for the best. We should probably try to do stuff with what actually exists. But we'll see. Maybe we'll have artificial intelligence elements soon. AI making up like NFT elements. I don't even really know where I'm going with this, but combining all these insanity. Man-made and highly unstable. Yeah, like, we could probably stop. This is why I'm not really a scientist. Or, like, a high figure kind of person. I'm like, we could stop. We could be happy with what we have. Memium. And there can only be one of every element. Alright. Well. I have a cat again. We'll see if we end up with a second cat this week or not. There's a stray that I'm growing attached to. But otherwise, it is time for Thanksgiving here in the States. I hope down under you guys have a lovely Thursday. And as we discussed last week, good Black Friday sales. Or you just stay out of it, which is also acceptable. I'll be back in December. And probably do like 3 weeks and then take a little bit of a holiday New Year break. But thank you all for hanging out, and yeah, stay out of it and write code. Oh, that's the best use of your time. So, yeah, and as far as I know, Punch and I will do Type 0 on Friday. Maybe there'll be EverQuest at some point this week. Maybe some Skyrim. It's hard to say. The end of the month and the beginning of the month are always like a little crazy busy. And I know there's, for one of my clients, I have to monitor something over the Black Friday everything weekend, so might not be able to stream too much more than usual. We will play it by ear, so bye everyone.